All right, good evening there, guys. I'm Carla.
And I'm Preston.
And this is another Tales from Cape Bretoners. So tonight, Preston's gonna start the stories, and we're gonna get into her here right away. So
Now,
let's
where
go.
were we in our last story? What were we talking about?
Oh God! Well, last one we were getting a little political or whatever, but we're
Okay, we don't mind getting political, but just not right now.
no.
We want to get some followers. We don't
Yeah.
want to scare all our followers
Yeah,
off.
we don't want to bring the nuts out yet.
Yeah, just because of the time and the last time, I think we probably missed it because we're Cape Bretoners, so we just get going and we just get going and going, right?
Yeah.
And 12 minutes is a long time, but you'd figure, but between two of us, it's not.
It's not.
Right?
We can go
And,
35 minutes
Yeah,
and think nothing about it.
that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So we're trying to watch our times and stuff. We're trying to be natural, and we're trying to give you basically, there's no acting here. It's just raw. We're just giving what we are. We're
Or
just
stories that
being cool people, just telling stories. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if you like it.
And there again, whether or not you believe it, the reality is most of them are true stories.
Yeah,
Like,
we haven't
talking
told you
about
no
our
ganders
personal-
yet.
Yeah, when we're talking about our personal
No
stories.
stories.
They're true stories. So, but we could do a UFO episode here if you wanted to.
Well, yeah. Actually,
We've got some good UFO
we got a lot
stories.
of great UFO
Absolutely.
stories, but now this is a crazy topic.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people, there's believers and then there's non-believers.
Yeah.
Now, I've been skeptical lots. Okay.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah, I know.
Until we seen, not on one occasion,
Yeah.
but we seen many.
Yes, we've
And I seen
me
it
and
on
him.
more than one places.
Me and him.
so did everybody else visually see things that I seen that day. And it was on a rock station and everything. It was on a broadcast.
Yeah.
Right? And it was like, it was a cloud. Everybody seen a cloud. And I'm talking about Edmonton.
Yeah.
And that was unbelievable.
Yeah,
Me,
the
my
total-
brothers, everybody seen this cloud. And then it was all over the radio that this cloud was in the sky and it was gone.
Yeah.
And this thing didn't move naturally.
Yeah.
It didn't move like a jet.
Yeah.
It didn't, it had different capabilities, way different.
Yeah.
So to me, I think we'd have to think that it's pretty far-fetched that with everything that's out there in that whole entire universe and universes and whatever else galaxies that are out there, that we're the only living things.
Yeah.
I have to say we're pretty ignorant to think that way.
Oh, arrogant.
And it
for
would
sure.
be,
Arrogant.
definitely.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Holy
arrogant.
shit, that's a Hare Krishna way to think.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah. And I'll tell you something else. When I say UFO, I mean unidentified flying object.
Yes.
Like, I'm not going to claim that anything I've seen is alien per se. I don't know. Maybe
We've
it
seen
is.
these things
Some of them I think are, but
but
some of them that we've
It's
seen,
crazy.
like the one incident that me and you had in Ontario.
yes. Let's talk about that
Okay,
incident.
all
Okay,
right.
so we'll tell the story a
Yeah.
little bit. So I'm a tattoo artist as well. So, anyways, me and her were going to Toronto to get some supplies.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And we were coming home, and we were coming into a place where we lived in.
Yeah, it was. We were coming off the 401 onto Highway 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aberfoyle.
Yes. And that's what we were
Ontario.
doing.
Yeah,
And then
head
all of a
back to
sudden we
Guelph.
seen like what looked like, the only way I could describe it would be a stealth.
Yeah.
And it was,
They were triangular.
and then there was two, and then there was three. And
That's
then
right.
we were like, okay, this is,
Wild.
it's nuts.
Wild.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
So, it is. I'm sorry. I don't care. We're not going to, we're doing adult content.
It's all adult content.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. So, we're good. So, basically what we seen was these three crafts.
Yeah. And
And
they
they
were
all
black
look-
triangles.
Yeah.
And this was
And they were
twilight.
quiet.
Twilight.
Yes.
So it wasn't nighttime yet. This was, you could see exactly what you were looking at. It was not nighttime.
And we weren't the only ones.
There was
what
people
made it.
pulled over all over the highway, man. People were pulled over. There was hundreds and hundreds of people.
So how do you explain these things that nobody can explain?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like this. They were in a formation,
Yeah.
and they were like, and they were as high as maybe them towers. You know, like
the communication towers.
like a communication
like
tower.
120 feet.
They
maybe.
weren't high.
No,
Like, they
120
weren't.
feet, maybe 100.
But they were out in the field.
Yeah.
And that's what they were doing,
About,
and they were just fucking.
I would say about 500 meters from us.
Yeah.
They were close. They were not far.
You couldn't hear them, and they were gone.
Yeah.
Just as quick as they came in. And then they were fucking spotting
And
them
then
in
they
New
come
York.
again.
They were spotting them in
In
everywhere.
New York, in Hamilton,
getting-
in Kitchener. So they come in like this, and all three of them would face to face, and stop and hover, just like that, and like for a good minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they go whoosh, gone and gone out of like your eyes couldn't even keep up with how fast they just poof gone.
Hey guys, if you
And
like
then-
stories like this, Carla's got a channel there you can follow too.
Yeah.
And give 'em
UFOs and Jeeps. Yeah.
UFOs and Jeeps. So
Yeah.
if you're a Jeep fan and a UFO fan,
Yeah.
you know.
I took my Jeep out to some places where we watched for UFOs and stuff and tell some stories, and people would come out and tell us stories. And so,
tell them what you do about the Jeep there, and then show. But you can join her channel.
yeah. So,
Um,
anyways, so these things would just like, and they would hover, and then they were gone, and then they'd be back, like within 2 minutes, 3 minutes. This didn't go on for like 10 minutes,
No.
20 minutes. This went on for hours into the evening.
No, it
We
was
watched
nuts.
it till like, I don't know, 8:30 at night, and finally we just like went, okay, I mean, I can't even watch it anymore. We watched it for like 3-4 hours.
But
right?
they were all over the place.
They were all over the
fucking
place,
place.
and
There were sightings
thousands,
everywhere.
hundreds of thousands
So
of people
when you
saw
see
it.
that, not everybody's. You know what's you're saying there, Carla? You can't have.
Three nuts with the same fantasy.
Yeah, you know, that night it would have been all over the radio and everything.
It was all over the news. It
And
was all over
you
everything.
can't have that many, nuts with all the same fantasy. So
Yeah.
to me, there's
Not
always
a mass
unexplained things out
hallucination.
there. You know?
Mass
we were
hallucination.
well. Here's a story. So here's a story on the stealth thing
Yeah.
because this is what I've seen.
Yeah, you couldn't
a
hear
lot.
a thing. That was
Right?
crazy.
I've
Yeah.
seen UFOs too that look
Yeah.
like they got these weird fluctuation
Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
Okay, but this is another story.
yeah,
This tonight, we're doing this story. So we're at the campsite. This
Yeah.
is a couple of years ago during when they started all the COVID bullshit.
okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're not.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Move on.
Rah, rah.
Move on.
So anyways, we're at the campsite, right?
Yeah,
And we're just there camping one night.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I look up in the sky and I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And there's something coming in that fucking tree line.
wow, okay.
Yeah, tree line.
Yeah.
And it's coming right through our campsite.
Yeah,
And this is a stealth. That's
Yeah.
what it looked like. It's the only way I can explain it.
Yeah.
It's a triangular shaped
Yeah.
looking thing.
Yeah.
It looked like a stealth, but it wasn't. It was a fucking complete triangle.
yeah,
It was
Yeah.
a ship.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And this thing was silent.
yeah.
And it just, and you know what? Here's the thing. We all seen it in the campground because
Yeah.
it flew right the fuck over us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then it went towards Kelly's Mountain,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it was gone. It
Yeah.
fucking, as
Yes.
soon as it hit the
Gone.
end, it went by the water, it went,
yeah.
and it
Go.
was gone.
Yeah,
But this thing, and I'm like looking at Shelly, I'm looking at everybody that was at the campground,
Yeah.
Anthony,
yeah,
and I said, am I fucking retarded? Like, am I losing my mind?
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. When I use that word,
No, I know. It
Yeah.
doesn't. We're not
hopefully-
talking about
yeah,
mental
it's
illness.
Not, yeah, we're not talking about it because
It's just
that's
slang.
not.
It's slang for us for not having a right moment.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, my own head too. I call myself that, right? Anyway, so when I'm looking out there and I'm like, this thing flew over, and I looked at everybody. I'm like, we all seen this.
Yeah, yeah. Not
We
losing
all.
my mind.
Is
Yeah.
it just me or
Yeah,
like? And I'm thinking, I never done no hallucinations.
yeah.
No, I never done nothing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you know.
Not on mushrooms.
Not on mushrooms, right? There's no acid or LSD going on, or, you know. I'm like, holy shit, man, am I seeing this? But we all seen it,
Yeah, yeah.
and things like that,
Oh yeah, it's
you know,
crazy.
like, and this thing went right over us, and it
Yeah.
was, we're like, what the hell are we seeing?
Yeah,
And it's above the tree line.
Yeah.
And I mean, like above the tree line, we
Yeah.
could see this thing,
yeah, yeah.
and then
Hey,
it just kept on going and
Yeah.
gone.
I know, and I've been seeing them my whole life. I've
It's
been
nuts.
seeing them my whole life. Like I've always been interested in UFOs.
I get excited.
watch
You know?
Ancient Aliens. I don't get me wrong. I don't believe all of this stuff. I don't believe all the hypotheses. I have my own mind, and I, I think for myself. But I love watching it, nonetheless. I find myself intrigued by what other people may think or say or think about the whole process. But I love watching UFO encounters and UFO mysteries and all this stuff. Because, I mean, down here in Cape Breton, we've got quite a few. One is Shubenacadie?
There's a few different
There's
places
one
down
up.
here.
There's one up in Halifax, not far from Sackville, and maybe it is Sackville. Maybe it is the Sackville UFO. But it is
There's
actually a
couple down in
recorded
Nova Scotia. We had a few.
recorded UFO that the Canadian military came out because there was a crash in the water and a bunch of fishermen thought it was a plane crash. They thought a plane had crashed. And so they got their boats and they went out to see if they could help or if people were in the water or whatever, right? And they went out and there was lights under the water with all this foam. And you can check into it
I think
Shubenacadie or Sackville.
They could hide for a lot of years underneath the water.
So they crashed into the water, and they could see the lights under the water and the foam under the water, but they couldn't. So the RCMP were called immediately, like as soon as the boats went out, because they thought it was a plane crash. So the RCMP got out there, and they made all the boats come back in, and within a half hour, the military was out there.
Yeah.
And within a half hour of that, the American military was out there. And then everything got closed off and people got pushed away and nobody could see what happened after that. So whether they retrieved something, well, they don't know.
They never retrieved that.
Well, it crashed. It did. It was an actual
crash.
It was actually a crash. So whether or not the thing crashed and was able to,
Listen, there's many stories.
We don't know. We have no idea. But the reality is still in Canadian... within the Canadian records, you can actually go into the Freedom of Information Act and get some information on that crash.
Well, you should be able to get most of it now because they're starting to release a lot of them.
Well, the Americans are, but I don't know that because you had I can't remember his name now. The one defense minister come out and said.
Now they're all trying to make them look like fucking crackpots.
Well, he's dead now.
And stuff.
He's dead now.
Exactly.
He died, right?
He did.
Yeah, he did. He died in the last couple of years.
That's what causes.
He didn't
sort of
care.
like Epstein, eh?
They did. They tried. They did try to discredit him, but they couldn't because he went to America and he talked on every news channel and he didn't care. He was at an age where he just didn't care. You want to call me crazy, go ahead, but this is true. This is the truth, right? So, anyways. It's something to look into if you're interested in these things, or if you want us to look into it. I'll be more than happy to go through that particular, because that's actually a very good one. And I wouldn't even mind actually going